How's it going, everybody? Kasabi from Showzone here, and today we'd like to go over the true overall metric that many of you have been seeing on our websites or our social media. So each player in the game has a rating that's defined by a score out of 99 by the developers, usually in the top right corner, as signified by the tier that they have reached: diamond, gold, silver, and so on. In some cases, if you've seen some cards on our websites, you may notice that the true overall differs from the actual overall that's given to the player in the game. This is somewhat intended. In most cases, it's going to be as close to the actual overall as possible, but for some cards it might be higher or lower given on our calculation. So what exactly is true overall? It's what we project the card ratings to be based on the weightings that the developer, San Diego Studios, has used for similar cards in the past. Some of you might have seen our other videos, such as the All or Nothing League, where we take a look into how the weightings affect a certain position. For example, first base is primarily weighted by power, which may not be the same for other positions. What you would normally expect out of the skill positions in baseball, San Diego Studio puts into their rating weights. You might expect a center fielder to have more speed than a first baseman, and their overall is influenced as such. True overall, however, is most effective once a card goes over 99 overall. The game only limits diamonds to be as high as 99 overall, even though the ratings might be over 100 in certain attributes. What's changed this year is we used to have a manual input, where it would be point A to point B, based on the calculations that the game developers would usually use. Last year we had a lot of relief pitchers that were higher than intended, because there aren't too many good relief pitchers in the game. Most of the good relief pitchers are classified as closing pitchers. Therefore, you saw a lot of relief pitchers that were in the high 90s, when they might not have been that good of a card. Because of this, we now utilize a deep neural network, which is kind of like a spider web of calculations instead of just the point A to point B. Within this network, we utilize and reference every single card that is in the database. The calculations bounce around using all of these different cards in our database, and eventually it creates a more accurate number based on what we think the card would be. This also takes into account cards that may be a lot different from everybody else, such as Shohei Ohtani being a pitcher and a batter, or somebody like Carl Schwarber, who plays the outfield but has a catcher as a secondary position. As you can kind of see here with Albert Pujols, his true overall is a 94.74, but his actual overall given by the game is 95. So that's pretty close, given that the scores are about a quarter of a point away. Because the weightings are different by position, however, you can also see that the card rankings would be different for each of their secondary positions. Taking a look at this Albert Pujols card again, you can see that his true overall is actually a lot higher at first base as opposed to his normal position, which is left field. This is because at first base, more hitting attributes are weighted, such as contact and power, whereas in left field, a lot more attributes like fielding and arm strength are taken into consideration. You don't need a whole lot of arm strength at first base to make tough throws. Taking a look at Fernando Tatis, for example, his overall given by the game is a 92, his true overall is a 91.36 at shortstop. However, because of his arm strength, which is a 99, he has an absolute cannon over in left and right field, which bumps him almost closer to a 93. So if you're looking for a card that you have a ton of at a certain position but still want to get some usage out of, you can use our website to see which of their secondary positions might be best for that card. In this case, if you have a bunch of shortstops, Tatis would actually be a very good left or right fielder. Now again, the true overall ranking isn't the end-all be-all, and it doesn't mean that because a player has a higher true overall ranking that they're the absolute best card in the game. A lot of that is going to be based on your personal preferences, such as the swing that the player has, the tendencies that they have at the plate, such as a push or a pull hitter, and so forth. So if there's anything that you take away from this video, just know that true overall would best help you calculate things in two separate areas, the first of which is cards 99 and over. This would give you the best projection of what a player might be if they were over the 100 mark. And the other application would be which players do well outside of their normal position. If there is a player that has a secondary position that's better than anybody else at that normal position, you can use this tool to your advantage. So if you've been getting a bunch of faces of the franchise cards that are a no-sell and they just all happen to be at center field, this tool will best help you utilize which players would do well at left field, right field, or maybe even somewhere else. We'll likely be updating this video as we update our deep neural network, but also once we get to the end game of MLB the Show 22, and that way you can see a little bit more about what we mean with the players who go over that 99 overall threshold. For now though, we hope that this video helps you determine the best usages for the true overall metric on our website. Thanks so much for watching. Signing off for now, this is Kasabi from Showzone.